Estás viendo Canal América, televisión dominicana para el mundo.
A Time for Truth show is sponsored by the Office of Dr. Bernard Fialkoff, a periodontal, dental implant and laser specialist in New York City, for over 40 years. Dr. Fialkoff was honored by the International College of Dentists and Pierre Fauchard, and received the Presidential Lifetime Humanitarian Honor from the White House. Call us at 718-229-3838.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got, but the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your fears.
Welcome to A Time for Truth show. I'm your host, Dr. Bernard Fialkoff. It's a pleasure to be with you again today. That special place that's yours, that space where you can connect with global leaders who are changing our world, transforming our world for the better. And today we're very lucky to have with us a special person all the way from South Africa. And engineer Victor, let's put her images up on the screen, and I'm going to introduce Nicola Khoury, who is the founder and chief executive of Isintu Crown and Isintu Media, two interlinked creative engines dedicated to revitalizing African culture through film, theater, music, storytelling, and community upliftment. She leads the Isintu Crown as a full production house focused on culturally rooted films, theater work, and creative collaborations with royal families, established directors, musicians, and artists across the entire continent. Nicola's work anchors African stories and professional production standards, while empowering emerging talent through structured creative pathways. Through Isintu Media, the nonprofit arm, Nicola drives cultural education, youth empowerment, moral upliftment programs, skills development, and heritage-based workshops in partnership with traditional leaders and community structures. This branch ensures that culture is not only celebrated, but actively taught, protected, and passed forward. Her leadership brings together artistic vision, cultural diplomacy, and entrepreneurial discipline. She works with royal houses, community groups, establishment producers, and national partners to build a growing ecosystem where African identity, creativity, and opportunity rise together. And we want to welcome Nicola Khoury to A Time for Truth show. And Victor, let's bring her up live. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that introduction. That was amazing. I feel honored to be here and to speak with you.
You're an amazing person, and I know you have so much to share. I want to get right to this interview. So I wanted to ask you, what inspired you to create both Isintu Media and Isintu Crown, and how do you balance the artistic vision with the social impact mission that you have?
Okay, this is a good question. And how I started Isintu Crown and Isintu Media was essentially with the idea that I'm going to help as many artists as possible. And this is what I've wanted to do for a very long time. So I started the nonprofit first, where I thought I'm just going to help people. And I'm going to create films and somehow I'm going to create this idea that I can bring about morals, I can bring about a hope for freedom. And I realized I cannot do that without the entrepreneurial aspect in it, because the big need and want in a lot of African countries is people want work, they want to grow, they want to financially be okay, and they want to see themselves attaining new heights and attaining really high goals. So you have to bring the entrepreneurial aspect into this. So I opened up Isintu Crown that will be the entrepreneurial aspect to it, and I figured out a structure that will be able to hold the entrepreneurial structure across the continent and even internationally, so that those who are part of Isintu Crown can grow with our affiliate marketing program. And we will do all the films where our actors will get paid, they'll grow with us, they will train as part of Isintu Media, which is where we'll do the cultural teachings, we will do moral teachings, we'll do leadership skills programs and workshops, we will do various activities to bring about the community and bring up the community, and those who want to participate in Isintu Crown can be chosen for work. And then those who are not exactly part of Isintu Crown but want to sell the idea of Isintu Crown to others can be part of our affiliate marketing program based off our website and getting people to subscribe to our website so they become salespeople. So I've created these two companies to grow the culture and the communities across Africa. So various cultures, and we're diving into various cultures. And I made it specific that we want to grow with partners who are wanting to expand the cultures of Africa internationally.
Well, that's totally amazing and, very creative. I really laud you that you've done that. And I wanted to, ask you, because your productions collaborate with royal families and cultural leaders. They're very diverse. So how do these partnerships that you're forming shape the narratives that you choose to tell in your creations?
Okay, so the royal families essentially are custodians of the cultures. And I learned this in the middle of expanding Isintu Media and opening up Isintu Crown. So I ran into some Zulu royals who were part of a huge celebration of girls who basically are maidens, meaning they, in other terms, they haven't lost their virginity, which is a very big celebration in our culture because we don't want teenage pregnancy. So there was this big celebration, and these royal ladies were there. And I was part of it, and I was helping. And I got called on stage to work with the royals and another celebrity, like several celebrities, established singers and artists who were holding this event. And I met them and realized that they technically would be the custodians of all the cultures that we have. If we're going to revive cultures and we need a stable people, royals are who to go to, because they have the history of what their culture was like. And from their bloodline, it's their responsibility to teach it to others. So I was very lucky, and let's say it was just out of path and out of pure intention of getting my project done that these people came into my life and into my company, and we have an MOU being looked at and signed to collaborate with royals across the entire continent, which means that we can have a very strong structure with this royal group who has connections to many royal families across Africa, so that we can properly do our research and dive into the cultures of Africa so as to unite people and bring awareness on the different cultures and bring about Isintu, which Isintu means respecting the cultures and beliefs of the others. So if one culture is doing something, another culture should know and respect it. The minimum they can do is respect it. So it's very strong in like the collaboration between the royals is very strong in terms of bringing about Isintu, and the lady who is the founder of that royal community is super gung-ho and strong. Like, she is intentioned to be a part of Isintu Crown and Isintu Media because she believes it can bring a cultural change across the entirety of Africa and attain her own intentions. So this is a very strong partnership, and I am really honored to be having this and holding the responsibility to help her bring about her intentions through my companies.
That's a fantastic base that you have. That's really fantastic. Congratulations, and wow.
Thank you.
So, you really fantastic. What I'm going to ask you, what challenges are you facing when you're bringing this culturally rooted, African stories to now global audiences from all over the world, all different places? And how are you overcoming those challenges and those barriers?
So I think the biggest thing is how to get to people fast enough so that they can grab onto the motion of finding out about us and going on the journey with us so we can expand to more and more people. In terms of going internationally, I've started in South Africa with whoever we can reach in South Africa, but now we have connections into Ghana. So one of the royals of Uganda and Uganda. So we've had royals from Ghana and Uganda who came to our summit in South Africa just a week ago. And the Uganda High Royal called up and said, bring Isintu Crown and Isintu Media to us right away. We have to work out all the funding, everything, but we want your programs in our country. Like, come immediately. We cannot wait till next year. Come immediately. That was the communication. So that was like, wow, okay, that's an international reach. But if we wanted to get to other countries out of Africa, I think the biggest challenge is the connection, and realizing that, well, there could be like knowing that a lot of Africans actually were sent out of the country. They were sent out to be slaves. They were sent out to be workers for other countries. And the royals here recognize that that is something they need to take responsibility for, because in fact they want to bring happiness and peace to everyone, no matter where you are in the world. So they're looking out for ways to connect with them. So they, through Isintu Crown, essentially could reach those target market, like those people, and reach to them and say, we welcome you home. We love you lots. We want to teach you your history. We want to teach you where you possibly come from, because there's a lot of history, but you're welcome to our home. Like, all people who consider Africa their home, they welcome. So they're like, they want to reach that, and they want to reach that international image that they welcome people and they love people and they want to care for people. So starting with their own communities and reaching out internationally. So I know most royals that I was speaking with really want that impact. They really want to change the narrative of the African ways to show we care for people, and they want to improve on that as much as possible. So I think it's just getting to people about it and letting people know that the royals want that. And and I think using Isintu Crown and Isintu Media is just a matter of keep producing until we can reach the audience and tell the stories. So we will also do like fantasy stories, like we are in the middle of a lot right now. We will be releasing quite a few things just to release the talent and imagination that's happening in Africa. And we specifically want Africans to do well, and we want to connect internationally, but we're looking at take care of yourself first. Like, first we're going to take care of us, like in Africa, and then we can look around. If others want to join in on the world, we're happy. We'll call you a brother, we call you a sister, we're happy with that.
Great idea, and you know, a great foundation for what you're doing. Makes sense, and you know, giving a lot of basic information and ability to people to connect. How does your creative work empower and help those emerging artists that you were talking about to establish sustainable careers? Because a lot of times it gets just one, and then they don't have another. They have to search for another, and maybe another one comes, maybe another one doesn't. Some are very lucky, and it just happens. So how do you actually help them to get something that's more consistent for themselves?
Yes. So we have the Isintu Media aspect, which is the teaching. I have lots of job opportunities in that, where we are deciding to pay our volunteers who will be speaking and teaching. So if they're coming in and they're learning, and then they want to grow up into Isintu Crown, and they get some jobs within Isintu Crown, meaning they're acting, or they're part of an entire series, or they're part of the whole music structure, or something like that, they will grow with us, and we will keep using them throughout our series. So that's for them as a way to grow. And then in between events, if they want to work in our non-profit, they can. It's like, it will be that structure. So it will keep on growing, and both companies will keep on growing. So our artists will like always have jobs. That's the idea.
Okay, and so then just so to clarify then, so the crown is the empresarial part of this?
Yes.
And the media is the nonprofit arm.
That's right.
Very interesting. Okay, and
yes,
you know, if people wanted to contact you, what email would you give them?
I would say contact me at isintumedia@gmail.com. We are still establishing our domain and everything. We've had some sponsor in on our domain, so that basically it didn't end up the way we wanted to. So I'll just say let's stick with the Gmail one right now, because I do get it. And then I have my own personal email, which is nikkikproduction98@gmail.com. So for right now, we're just sticking to that until we get the new sponsor who can help us with our proper domains. Yeah, so if people want to contact me, that's how they can contact me.
Very good. So let me ask you, in terms of how you look at things, what elements of African culture do you feel are most at risk of being lost?
Yes. It's the aspect of there's so much going on in the world, like the new car, you're going to have your expensive house, you've got to have your new this or new that. And I came back to South Africa 4 or 5 months ago, and I thought, guys, if you don't keep your own heritage, it might get lost. Like, you might actually lose it. I didn't get taught African culture when I was growing up. In fact, people would ask me questions. Hey, what do you do if a Sutu says something? Or, hey, what does this mean in Xhosa? I'm like, oh, I've never gotten taught ever. And I asked another kid who was growing up, 15 years old. I said, tell me something about an African culture. And he was like, oh, I don't know. Why are you asking me? So at that confirmed my realization that we will lose our culture if we don't do something to actively like show it, teach it, document it, put it in movies, put it in like our creation, our everyday life. And we have such unique cultures in Africa that I feel like it's kind of exciting. It doesn't mean everyone has to do it, but it's a very exciting way to live. Meaning we've got all these colors and all these languages and then music and beats that we could just incorporate in our everyday life. And I mean, for me, I'd rather see someone driving a fancy car that looks like highly colorful and Ndebele-like or Zulu-like or Xhosa-like the colors, and just know that they're completely African. And I'd be like, you're living a high life and still carrying our culture. So that's what I want to see. Um, yeah, so that's what I'm promoting in my company is live your high life, live the most modern, amazing things, but please bring your culture with you. Like we had morals that people didn't even know existed unless we teach them. And the fun thing is we had morals, we have colors, we have a whole different aspect of living and traditions and that ways of living that actually are very exciting that people could forget if we don't continue teaching.
Makes total sense. How do you see the arts and the media acting as tools to restore this cultural pride and national identity amongst youth?
Okay, so that's saying you've got to, that's saying without the art and the culture, life becomes uninteresting. And as a youth myself, and growing up, I did not like it when someone gave me like, here's your book and you have to read it, and if you don't know the facts by tomorrow, you're not going to survive well. I resented it. It was like, I learned slowly, but through films and through music and through interesting interactions. That's how I learned. So that's where I'm bringing art in, and I'm thinking that art is going to be a massive way to get to youth, because from conversations I've had with youth today, they're not interested in giving something they have to learn, otherwise they won't survive. Like, some youth are, but a lot of youth are more interested in their TikToks and their dancing and how good they look and how well they can do something. So I'm like, well, that's completely artistic. I'm just going to use your needs and wants, and let's create something. Let me teach you with the way you're wanting to be taught. So I'm like, bringing the arts. Let's bring film, let's bring theater, let's bring storybooks, storytelling, making it exciting, making them interested and wanting to learn, so that they will continue the culture when they grow up and they can teach it the same way to their kids. And it's something that they can have forever and ever and ever, and that culture and this culture can keep being taught generations to come.
Absolutely, because rather than forcing, you're making it creative, participatory. It's their own decision. There's nothing like that. That it's very smart. Makes a lot of sense. And I wanted to ask you, because you also have another interesting aspect. So I wanted to ask you, how is it that you're integrating moral values and ethical principles? Like I saw a picture, and you have this book that has these principles written by Mr. Hubbard, Ron Hubbard. Yes. And it's called The Way to Happiness. How do you, using that and incorporating that with your storytelling and community programs?
Okay, so The Way to Happiness is a book that helped me as a 17-year-old get back into shape in life. I had read it many times, but there was a point in my life where I was like, what do I do and where do I go? And I'm very lucky to have had the book to show me how can I be happy, how can I be morally correct in my decisions in the future and from now on. So and for me that's a big life changer and a big saver. And I was thinking the artist world can tend to get very confusing. Some artists don't know whether to go on drugs or whether to go and speak and gossip with their friends, or whether they should hang out and go drink alcohol until they have creativity. So for me, as a sober person, I said, no, my companies are going to be supporting artists who are sober, who are creative because of their inner creations, because they are geniuses. They're able to push forward an idea out of their own determinism. So I'm going to show them some ways that I've learned to be able to do that doesn't involve drugs, alcohol, but it encourages you as a spiritual being to get creative and to live a life within a body, basically, and and live your life correctly within a body as a spiritual being to know you're going higher places. And you can, without getting into the traps of this world, create as an artist. That's my intention.
Very good. And you know, we're getting near the end of the show, but I wanted to ask you, give me some example of some precepts out of this Way to Happiness that actually resonate with African traditions.
Yes. So I would say there is don't be promiscuous. That's a huge one. And I know there's African traditions who are so big on this that you almost cannot even get divorced once you're married in some African cultures. Then there is, I think, like being industrious as well. I do see that there's a lot of Africans who want to work, and they promote and they honor those who work really hard. There's also supporting a government of goodwill, and this comes to also supporting a royal family of goodwill. I think it has been noticed that African cultures will also call on their ancestors who are people of goodwill. So any leadership of goodwill, an African will call upon. And then there's, of course, respect the religious beliefs of others, number 18. So Isintu essentially is respecting the religious beliefs and cultural beliefs of others. And then those are the ones that I think resonate mostly with the African cultures. There's so much in the Way to Happiness that when you read it, you go, oh, it makes sense. So
wow, right. It's like
yes.
it's so full of everything. So you know what?
Yes.
Unfortunately, we've run out of time on the show.
Okay.
But it's been a total pleasure to have you, and it really makes so much sense what you're doing. So let's move forward. We wish you a lot of good luck. You're doing really well. And, thank you for being on the show.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. And for those of you watching, so look out for Isintu Media, Isintu Crown, and contact Nicole Khoury. It's isintumedia@gmail.com. You can get a hold of her, and let's bring this imaginative new life and storytelling and culture preservation all across not only Africa, but the world. Have a good night. We'll see you on the next episode of the Time for Truth show. You're quite welcome, Nicole.
This show was sponsored by Time for Truth Foundation Incorporated as a community service.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got, but the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your feet